Hi there and welcome to Gaining Vision. I'm Melanie. Have you had an opportunity to subscribe to the channel yet? If not, take a second, hit subscribe, and please don't forget to like and share. Can you believe it's been over 4 months since COVID entered our lives? It's hard to believe where the time has gone, but here we are, at the beginning of August. Things have changed. The fear is still there, the unknown is still there, but slowly but surely things are starting to come back to life. Here in Ontario, Canada, we are in phase 3. So what does that mean? Well, we can now go and eat in restaurants instead of just taking out. We can go to the gym to exercise. We can even have gatherings indoors up to 50 people, outdoors up to 100. Businesses are slowly starting to open and things are starting to come back to normal in a little bit. Even heard the economy is starting to bounce back. Canada's done pretty good, I'll say that, in helping out its citizens in the times of difficulties when a lot of businesses closed and we had to shut things down for quarantine. The government came back with a CERB, which was a emergency funding for people who had lost their jobs. And in fact, it took over a lot of opportunities, and there was a lot of different funding opportunities for seniors, people with disabilities, and even for families. So not everybody was left in the lurch. But as things start to slowly open up, things definitely have changed. The kids are starting to think about the fall already because they're talking about kids going back to school in the fall. And a lot of people are shocked that elementary schools are going back full time. But I wasn't surprised because as a teacher, I understand the importance of for young kids in their development stages of interacting with their peers. It's important for them to be amongst their peers and be in a structured environment where they can learn. That doesn't mean that people shouldn't consider the social distancing, the masks, and that sort of thing. So in Ontario, under the grade 4, so let's say kindergarten, grade 1, 2, and 3, they're not mandatory to wear masks. But grade 4 and up, they are. And in high school, they're going to be limited to groups of 15 students at a time on every other day, and then there'll be online learning as well. When you look at all these different plans, I am still concerned, especially for the elementary school. We had a strike a year ago. The teachers were upset about class sizes, and I have to agree. Having too many students in a class is counterproductive for the student and very hard for the teacher to make sure that the students are meeting their needs. But they haven't looked at possibly limiting the size of the classes with COVID, and that surprises me, especially little kids, because they're into everything, they're touching everything. I know they're going to definitely be focused on the cleaning aspect, but I really thought for sure that the Ministry of Education would have looked at class sizes. Now again, it's a work in progress. I understand it's just a first step back. But everybody's starting to be concerned whether you're going back to work, back to school, or these gatherings are getting bigger and bigger, that people are still not minding the guidelines. So the hand washing still has to be really adamant. The social distancing, the wearing of masks, all of these options will help stop the spread of COVID-19. I was shocked to hear just last week, their house in Brampton, which is just north of us here, there was 200 people in the house for a party. What are they thinking? First of all, not safe at the best of circumstances, but oh my goodness. So you can imagine the COVID numbers were definitely up that way. You hear about people going to the park and playing basketball and getting back to the sports, which is okay now because it's being opened up. But again, not considering all of the repercussions, because the more people get together for groups, the easier it's spread. Some of our biggest teams, the Blue Jays, the Maple Leafs, are back in action. But the Maple Leafs are playing in Toronto, but Blue Jays are being told they have to play in the States. I don't get it. You know what? I understand that coming and going through the countries is still closed, so I understand that, and the risk to bring different people from different countries where perhaps COVID isn't as controlled. I understand that, and the concerns are there. But each country has its own plan of attack, and we have to be thankful for that and what they've put in play. But we also have to remember that we all play a part in this. This is the first time any of us have had to deal with a pandemic, and having to be in power and have to put a plan in place that is going to be effective and that everybody agrees with is a tough thing to do. But if we as individuals don't follow what we're asked to do as far as guidelines, it's never going to go away. I know they've just launched a new app here in Canada, and it's called COVID Alert. It's a little bit questionable, let's face facts. So basically you download this free app, and it will tell you if you've come in contact with somebody with COVID-19 just by your phone's Bluetooth. But they're very big on the privacy, because at first I thought, oh my gosh, they're tracking us. This is crazy. But the way it actually works is it's a random code that you're given, and so nobody knows it's you that has it. But if you've been anywhere, it will let them know. So for example, if you go to the grocery store and you have entered in the fact that you had COVID and that somebody else was there, it would notify them. First of all, my question is, if you have COVID, why are you going grocery shopping? Secondly, don't you think you would inform the people you're usually around that you have COVID-19? I would definitely tell my friends and family if I had been in touch with them or in contact with them, because I would want them to get tested for sure. So I see the pros and cons to this. A lot of people are not happy about it because they feel it's like Big Brother watching over them, 1984 all over again. But the reality is, I see how the government is trying to protect us and how they're trying to keep us wise to what's happening and to be aware of the risk is still out there. So what can we plan for the future? Because let's face it, we want to get back to some sort of normalcy. Summer's here, we're already in August and it's flying by, and then school is going to be here come the fall. But life is going to have to get back to some sort of normalcy. So more jobs are going to probably come back, hopefully. The money for the emergency funds are all going to run out, and then people are going to be stuck. If they don't have a job to go back to because companies have shut down, we're going to be faced with unemployment. If people aren't getting money to come in, they're not going to be able to pay their bills. So the credit card bills are going to go up. There's going to be lots of debt, and the countries will take time to bounce back. So in the meantime, we have doctors in the background working hard to come up with a vaccine or treatments. And I've heard of some treatments that are in play now, which is great. But the vaccine is still a long time away, I think. Definitely not till the end of fall, if not next year. So until then, we still have to play our part by social distancing, washing our hands, and of course wearing the mask. You have to be selective of what parts of this new opening that you're really going to invest your time in. Are you going to rush out to go to a big party? Are you going to rush out and go to the gym and work out on machines that perhaps are not being cleaned properly? Are you going to be going to the sports fields to play sports? I know activity and exercise is important. Or are you going to be going out to the beach and hanging out with hundreds and hundreds of people? Honestly, the decisions that you make will affect the outcome. I know for myself, I definitely won't be going to a party, 200 people in a house, that's for sure. But we do want to get back to some sort of normalcy with school, with work, with our family life. Don't limit yourself, because of course the mental health of us, our well-being is also very important. So extending the bubble, as they call it, of your family interactions is a good thing. Don't stay away, but yes, keep in mind if you have someone who's elderly or at high risk, be mindful of the social distancing and the wearing the mask. But we will have to get back to some regular routines shortly. But if we all play our part, things will start to come back with ease quicker. So we need to educate ourselves. We need to keep in mind of what's happening in our own communities. As I mentioned, I'm just talking about Ontario and where I live, but all over the world is different. We've seen some big flare-ups in different areas, especially in the States. Find out, what's going on in your local community, what prevention methods and what guidelines are they telling you to follow. We also have to think about travel. Necessary travel, obviously you have to do if it's for work or if there's a death in your family, but is it priority to go on a big vacation right now? Is it fair for you to take something you may not even know you have into a different space? Not really. So save your money. Take the opportunity to spend time at home with your friends and family or locally, or travel, visit places around your community you possibly haven't looked at before. You have a part to play in this. Each of us does. But education is the first part, and it's key. Then your actions, they speak louder than words. So make sure you practice the social distancing, washing your hands, wearing masks. And it's easy to complain about all the different limitations that have been put on us. If you want to be part of the solution, get involved. Help out where you can. Perhaps you can help find a cure with working with some of the professionals out there. Perhaps you can help families that are stuck by bringing them food. Whatever part you can play, be part of the solution instead of part of the complaining part, because we're all stuck in this pandemic. We all have to play our part. How is COVID affecting you? What's happening in your community now? Are things opening up, or are you still at home? Are you still afraid? Concerned? Nervous? That's normal. Or are you starting to feel antsy and you just want to get out and get back to reality? All those feelings are normal, and we're all feeling them. Just think before you jump, because really, truly, again, going back to that party of 200 people, there's other alternatives, definitely. Outdoor activities are definitely the prime candidate right now in the good weather, because before you know it, the snow will be back. So enjoy the fresh air, do things outside. Doesn't mean you can't be with friends and family. Doesn't mean you can't be safe. When you're faced with an issue such as the subway is shut down and you have to take a shuttle bus, and people are packed in the shuttle bus, what are the alternatives? Can you walk it? Can you get a taxi? The system also has to work with us. They have to come up with alternatives, because I know I wouldn't be getting on a shuttle bus full of people without social distancing. But these are things we're all going to be learning and growing together with. And it's going to take time. So the most important thing is we